of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of...
Welcome to Game of Thrones Chat, Season 5. I'm Dan.
I'm Thomas.
And I'm Unsullied. I have not read the books of Ice and Fire or whatever they're called.
And I'm double solid then because I've read them twice.
God, double solid. We are not gonna spoil anything beyond Season 4. So, of course, I don't know anything beyond Season 4. And Thomas has promised to keep his mouth shut. So, let's get on with it.
Absolutely.
First we're going to start with a recap of where everybody is and what's going on when Season 4 ended.
Exactly. Let's start with the wall. Up at the wall we had the Wildlings attacking the wall and the Night's Watch defending it. And then Stannis came in and just routed all the Wildlings. And
I looked at that episode just a couple of days ago and I still wonder where those 100,000 Wildlings were.
Yeah, I mean, there were woods that they hid in, I guess, but still 100,000.
It still looked like 200, perhaps.
Yeah, but supposedly they were 100,000.
Okay.
And they took thousands of prisoners, and now, I guess Stannis is running the show right now. At least Jon Snow is deferring to him to figure out what to do with the Wildlings.
Well, he is the true king.
Yeah, the one true king of Westeros. Well,
yes, Stannis!
Stannis the Menace. Yeah, well... so that's for what's going to happen. That's what's happened at the wall so far.
Yeah, and Melisandre is giving Jon strange looks.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, he needs a new girlfriend.
He knows nothing.
He doesn't.
And then if we move a little bit further south, but still in the north, we have Roose Bolton. He has now declared that his bastard son is now his trueborn son. So Ramsay Snow is now Ramsay Bolton, and he's the heir to the north.
So he has made his homicidal maniac son into his heir who will inherit the north if he dies.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And Theon has also changed his name to Reek.
Yes.
Of course. So moving further south, in the Vale, we have the Hound lying in a ditch somewhere, mortally wounded.
Yeah, presumed dead.
Yeah, he begged Arya to kill him, but she just walked away with his money instead. Yeah. I guess she figured that was even worse than killing him, taking his money.
Probably.
And we have Brienne and Podrick roaming around aimlessly, trying to find Sansa or Arya.
After all, it's what they do best.
Exactly. And then, then we also have Sansa, of course, and Littlefinger. And Sansa really had a kind of a change at the end of Season 4 when she really went from being a pawn to being a player in the Game of Thrones.
Black Sansa.
Yeah, Dark Sansa now. She's dressed in dark and colored her hair dark. And part of it is, of course, because she's going to be disguised as Elaine or Elias Stone or something. Yeah.
And their mission was to go around the air and sort of show off the new lord and make him the new lord as well, Robin.
Yeah, to give public support for him and also make him ride a horse and swing a sword and stuff that his mother protected him from doing. Because
basic training, 101.
Yeah, exactly, basic training.
And the air is undamaged by war, so they should be pretty strong.
Yeah, to specify, the air is actually the fortress on top of the mountain.
Oh, it's the Reach.
The Vale. The Vale is the kingdom.
See, I know nothing.
So they're going to travel around in the Vale.
Yes.
So let's see. Yeah, so we don't know what's going to happen other than that. Well, that's what happened in the last season.
Yeah, that was back in episode 7, right? No, they showed a bit more. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see her in episode 9 or 10 at least.
Of course, she wasn't at the wall.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't at the wall, and then we have King's Landing.
Yeah, everybody left.
Yeah, in King's Landing.
Or died.
Left or died. In King's Landing, we have Maggie set up to marry Tommen, and we have Cersei set up to marry Loras. Or at least that's the plans that Tywin made. But
Tywin is not around.
Tywin is not around anymore. Shay is not around anymore either. And Tyrion is not around either because he left.
Varys is not around.
Yeah, Varys is not around either. Lots of people left or died. So then there's a power vacuum now. because Tywin was kind of running the show. So now, is Tommen going to rule more now, or who's going to be the new hand?
It looks like Cersei have total power almost. Who will oppose her?
So she's going to be the new hand then, no? Or well, that's speculation.
Yeah, actually, she should be.
Well,
that seems like the natural position for her now. Mom as hand of the king.
Yeah. Okay, and
we have the mountain as a zombie or something. As
yeah,
well.
Qyburn was emptying him of blood. That doesn't look like. I thought the blood transfusion worked the other way around, but maybe he's doing something else.
He seems to be a weird kind of doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he was banned from being a maester because he was doing all these strange things.
What happened to Pycelle? He's still around. He's just demoted or in bad favor.
Well, he's still the Grand Meister in title, but seems like Qyburn is the one that's getting Cersei's favors, and I mean she's favoring Qyburn rather than Pycelle.
Is he still a member of the Small Council, right?
Last time I checked, he was, yeah.
And he's like the only member of the Small Council.
Yeah, Tyrion went away, and Littlefinger went away, and Cersei is still around, but Tywin is dead, yeah.
Was Cersei on the Small Council?
Yes.
Or was she just there because she was obnoxious?
I think she was on the Small Council. Okay. I remember a scene where everybody was dragging chairs around.
That's true. So the Small Council is Cersei and Pycelle.
It's a very small council.
She doesn't like him, so...
Yeah, so it might be... Yeah, exactly. That's right. And
absolutely nobody else is in King's Landing.
Well, there's lots of peasants and...
Yeah, the Queen of Thorns is still there, right?
Yeah, and Jaime is still there.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And the...
and Loras and...
the Great Lord of the Reach.
Oh yeah, Mace Tyrell.
Yeah.
Yeah, last time we saw... Yeah, he's there.
Wasn't he promised a seat on the Small Council or something?
I think so. Yeah, he was...
Oh, we have 3 people in the Small Council.
Exactly.
This is becoming a party.
Yeah, so there's... well, there might have to be some replacements. We'll see what happens with that.
All right.
And then we have also the people that are not in Westeros anymore. People that are supposedly people are somewhere else. Like Arya, for example, she took ship in the very last episode. So she's going to Braavos.
Supposedly to meet the whatever their guild name was.
The Faceless Men.
The Faceless Men, yes.
Jaqen Hagar was the friend that gave her that coin that she then gave to the captain, and the captain's like, oh wow, this coin.
Yeah.
She's like, Valar Morghulis, all men must die, and he said, Valar Doharis, all men must serve.
How secret is that greeting? Is it common greeting, or is it a secret password? It seems like you see different things on different sources.
Yeah, well, the captain knew it at least,
yeah.
And well, let's see what they say if we see that next season.
All right.
But okay, so she's heading to Braavos.
Yeah.
And then we have Varys and Tyrion on one ship. Going somewhere. We don't know where they're going.
We don't know. They didn't say anything, did they?
I don't remember them saying anything. They could go to... they could go to Braavos also.
Yeah, you got the impression it was going to the Free Cities, but...
Yeah. But, they could go to Braavos, they could go to Pentos, because Varys has connections there.
Yeah.
Or they could go somewhere else completely.
He's from Pentos, right?
Yeah, and he has... If you remember back in Season 1, when Arya was running around in the castle, and she overheard 2 people scheming... It was Varys and some guy she didn't know. And that guy she didn't know, that was Magister Illyrio. And we remember him from Season 1, Episode 1, when he was brokering the marriage between Daenerys and Khal Drogo.
Yeah.
And he lives in Pentos.
Okay.
So there's a reason for them to go to Pentos. But then again, Pentos is like the closest of all the free cities to King's Landing. So it might not be long enough, but yeah. But he could go somewhere else. I mean, he could go to other part of Westeros, or he could go to the Wall also. We don't know.
Yeah.
So we didn't really get any information about that, I think.
No.
So we could speculate all we want about that.
I just assumed they were going to Braavos. But, okay, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe I didn't hear that.
And then we have the queen of being somewhere else. The master herself.
Yeah, Daenerys Stormborn.
Who's never around.
Yeah, but she wants to get to Westeros, but now she's in Meereen, and she's trying to rule Meereen.
Yeah.
And conquering Meereen seemed pretty simple, but ruling it seems a lot harder.
Yeah. Because
she freed all the slaves, but now all the slaves are like, oh, we want to be slaves again. We don't want to be free.
Yeah, it's hard to govern cities.
Yeah, so she's like, okay, so you can sign contracts to be like 1 year slaves, and
Compromise.
yeah, and she exiled Seriora Mormont.
Yeah, so maybe he's in King's Landing.
Maybe he will be in King's Landing.
Maybe he can be on the small guns.
Okay, well, maybe. So they, we don't know where he just rode away from Meereen. We don't know where he is right now.
Yeah, but I got the impression he was heading back to. But of course, he had all the connections in Pentos, etc., so he could go anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so have I talked about I talked about most of the characters, and the other characters.
Yeah, the Brotherhood is still around somewhere doing.
Somewhere in the Riverlands.
Yeah, doing not anything in particular.
Yeah.
Being obnoxious.
Yeah, exactly.
Worshipping the Lord of Light.
Mm-hmm.
What else? There are some characters we haven't seen since season 3, like Robert's bastard son.
Yeah, he has gotten a rowing boat, and then he's been rowing in that boat for all of season 4.
Maybe he will arrive in King's Landing.
Yeah, if he's really slow.
And Theon's sister is somewhere.
We did see her in season 4, where she tried to break out.
Yeah, she went back to the Iron Islands.
Yeah, well, we don't know what happened to her at all, really. I mean,
we don't know a whole lot about the war with the Iron Islands, or if they're actually fighting anyone.
Yeah, they have.
Oh, they are fighting. Boltons.
Yeah, the Ironborn lost Moat Cailin in season 5, season 4. I mean, but they have showed. Yeah, they're not really focusing on that. We don't know what's going on really with the Ironborns. So maybe we'll see more of that in season 5, or maybe not.
Yeah.
So I gave you some homework.
You did.
Some predictions. I want you to predict some stuff.
Yes.
For season 5.
I will predict some stuff. And it's very important to realize that I don't know anything. I actually have to guess this.
Yeah. So first I asked you, who do you think is going to die this season, or at least run a big risk of dying?
Well, George R. R. Martin loves to kill people we care about. Mm-hmm. And I think he has sort of... There are some people, we'll get back to that I don't think he can kill. Mm-hmm. So who will he kill just to spite us? Yeah. And I think he will kill Brienne. Because she has been a very... character we have sympathy for. She has this thing going with Jaime. She fought and defeated the Hound. She's one of the very few honorable persons in Westeros. So I think she's going to die in some way. I can't tell how. Okay. And Podrick is probably going along.
Oh, he's dying as well?
Yes.
Okay, at the same time.
Yeah, but I don't count him there.
No. Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, you could count him as a separate character, but he's not a big character.
Okay, then he's the bonus choice.
He's yeah, exactly, the bonus death.
I think Ross Bolton has signed his own death warrant, which is surprising, as he seems to be a scheming bastard, but he seems to have a blind spot for his murderous son, and I think he will die.
Oh, and how will he die then?
He will be murdered by Ramsay.
Oh, okay, so he will get the power in the
Yes,
north,
and Ramsay will be Warden of the North.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and the third death?
The third person is actually Balon Greyjoy. I think he's played out and in value as this obnoxious guy on the Iron Islands. And sort of we only got to know him because we needed to know Theon's background. Mm-hmm. And with him dead, Theon, who is now in this Reek state, will have the interesting problem of being Lord of the Iron Islands as Reek.
Oh, wow, a slave king.
Yeah, so I think there's a story there, and it will also resolve the war then between the Iron Islands and the North.
And it will also resolve Melisandre's spell that she laid back in season 3.
Yes, it will be a clean sweep then, right?
Yeah.
Nobody is left.
Joffrey and Robb Stark and Balon Greyjoy were the 3 people that she was going to kill. And,
I didn't think about that, but yeah, that makes it even clearer. He's my number 1 prediction then.
Okay.
He's going to die, that old bastard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good. But how about 3 characters do you think that are absolutely safe then?
I think Daenerys is safe, because if George R. R. Martin killed her, it would be like the biggest trolling of all time.
But wouldn't that be typical him then?
I think that would be going too far. It would be
Okay.
like, okay, I told you this story doesn't have anything to do with all the rest of the stories.
Yeah,
And now I'm not telling you that story anymore.
exactly.
So that wouldn't work. I think it's called The Song of Ice and Fire because of her. So I don't think she's dying.
Yeah. Okay, well, that makes perfect sense. Just like you can't kill Ned Stark because he's the main character, and you can't kill...
I think it was easier to kill Ned Stark because he was played by Sean Bean.
Yeah. And then it's like, okay, now we know the stories about Robb Stark avenging his father.
Yes.
Oh, now we know it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I think Daenerys is safe. I think also the ice part in the title is Jon Snow.
Okay.
So I think he is absolutely safe.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense then if that's how you interpret it. Yeah.
Yes, and remember my old theory about Jon Snow being the heir to the Targaryen throne. So I think he's absolutely safe.
Yeah.
And the big controversial one here is Tyrion. Tyrion is the most loved character in the series.
Yeah.
And if you I follow a couple of actors, I feel it's very dangerous because they could spoil stuff. But they all worship Tyrion as well. So if you look on their Facebooks, they post stuff about Tyrion.
Oh, okay.
And about Peter Dinklage, which sort of doesn't relate to those actors.
Yeah.
So I think it really can't kill Tyrion. It would be too bad for the show. And if Tyrion actually dies in the books, I think the producers will do anything to stop that at this point. So I think Tyrion is somewhat safe.
Okay, so Daenerys, Jon Snow, and Tyrion are safe.
So this probably means that Tyrion dies in season.
And the people that will die are Brienne, Roose Bolton, and Balon Greyjoy.
Yes.
So they will all survive then, just despite you. Or well, we'll see what happens.
And a lot of other people die. I tried to remain unsullied, but it's hard to avoid people discussing the season. And I heard that some people died that don't die in the books, but they're not important enough. And there are some people alive that are already dead in the books, which causes problems. And George R. R. Martin is upset.
Yeah, he has. They talked about this. They asked him about this on the Comic-Con.
Okay.
And they asked, okay, so what's the real story here? Because these guys are dead here, or dead in the books, or alive on TV, or vice versa. And he's like, well, it's the same old question with. I think he brought up Gone with the Winds or something, that some person had like 3 kids in the books and one kid in the movie or something. And the answer is, okay, so how many kids do they have? Well, they have 3 in the books and 1 in TV, so it's not the same. So he's really like distancing himself from the TV series in that way, that the books can still build on stuff. The books are the books, and the TV series are the TV series.
Yes.
And he's not going to rewrite the books after they kill somebody in the TV series.
I also managed to pick up that there was a super major event that everybody expected at the end of season 4 that didn't happen. And now people are like, oh, it won't happen at all. And some people are, oh, it's going to happen right away.
Okay.
But I don't know what it is, so don't say anything. Shut up!
Can I say if I know what you're talking about or not?
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
Okay. That's bad news. All right.
Okay, well, I also asked you to come with some other random predictions. Just what do you think else is going to happen this season?
I've seen a couple of pictures, and I know that it's going to be a bit about the House Martell and Dorne. And the scenes are being shot there. Mycella's character. And I expect Cersei to go there for some reason. I'm not sure where I got that from.
Okay.
And I definitely think this is the Cersei season more than any other season. I think we might see something. We saw the redemption of Jaime Lannister in season 3 and 4, and I think we're going to see character development for Cersei.
Oh, so this is going to be her journey then.
Yes.
Yeah. So Jaime's journey was season 3. Okay.
I don't know where she will end up. It would be nice if they ended up like both are really nice and in love with each other.
Yeah.
It's like this monument to incest. It would be very beautiful.
Yeah, Jaime really, I mean, he comes off as such an a-hole in the beginning of the series. But then after he makes this journey, it's so much easier to like him.
Yes.
So it's, that character development is just excellent. If you get half as much for Cersei, that would be really good also.
Yeah, but Jaime moved from being a kick-ass badass, whereas Cersei is moving from this much darker position, I feel. So that could even be more interesting.
Well, we both started off the whole Game of Thrones thing with thinking that they're like the most evil people in the world.
Yes.
And now we don't think that Jaime is the most evil person in the world anymore.
So maybe there's hope for Cersei too.
Maybe there's hope for Cersei, we'll see.
Maybe they can rule Westeros together.
Yeah.
I do expect Stannis to march south. Of course, he can't hang around at the wall. Maybe he has to hang around at the wall and stop the White Walkers, and that would be boring for him. But he has nearby the possibility to whip the Boltons, so I expect him to project his power somewhat south, and I don't give the Boltons much of a chance if he does.
Yeah.
So they will get the righteous fist of the Stannis Inquisition.
Okay, cool. Looking forward to that.
I expect Arya and Tyrion to meet up.
Okay, in Bravos then?
Yes.
Okay, so your prediction is that Tyrion is going to Bravos.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to predict where he's going.
Of course.
I would like I would like the listeners to predict this.
Okay.
In the comments field.
Yes.
I want you to predict where he's going, and if you predict it correctly, you will get a shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you predict wrongly, we will mock you. No, we won't mock you.
No.
Only a little.
Maybe. We'll see. You never know.
And I think then they will meet up. I looked back on this, and there is not any interaction between Tyrion and Arya earlier in the series. There is his own interaction with Stark children is with Jon Snow.
Yeah.
So I would have expected something in season 1.
Well, they were both at Winterfell in season 1, but I don't think
they never talked to each other.
Yeah. And then they've been at different places pretty much the whole time, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Arya has been lost most of the time.
Yeah.
I expect Brienne to actually find Sansa and be killed by Littlefinger.
Oh.
Because Littlefinger tends to kill people he doesn't like.
Yeah.
Though he wouldn't have a hard time using Brienne, I think.
But okay, so Brienne finds Sansa. Will Sansa react the same way Arya reacts, or how will she react to?
No, I think Sansa will react better and accept Brienne into her service.
Okay.
And then Littlefinger kills Brienne because Brienne needs to die to satisfy George R. R. Martin, who is Satan.
That's all the motivation Littlefinger needs.
Yes.
Okay.
I expect Melisandre and Jon Snow to have a plot together. I don't know what it will entail, but I think the Lord of Light has something in planned for Jon Snow.
Yeah. And Melisandre's going to tell him what it is.
Or at least she will act upon it and make it happen.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think he will tell him what it is.
Yeah, that's okay. That's cool.
I also expect Samuel Tarly to be utterly useless. And he might actually be the 4th death prediction, because I don't see where he's going now and what he's good for in the series.
Neither does he.
His death could be a traumatic event for Jon, because he needs more traumatic events.
Oh, he really needs more traumatic events.
Yes.
He just burned his girlfriend.
Yes.
And now he needs more traumatic events.
I think George R. R. Martin hates Jon Snow because he can't kill him, so he has to give him traumatic events.
Death will be a sweet release for Jon Snow.
I have also realized that the book plot doesn't go any further for Bran and Hodor and whatever her name is. So
Mira Reed.
Yeah. So I don't expect us to see them at all this season.
Okay.
Because if we see them, it will be quite sensational.
Okay.
For the book plot.
Yeah.
And my final prediction is that Rickon Stark has spent all of season 4 learning how to control White Walkers, and he will then lead the White Walker army, conquer Westeros, and become the true king.
You said you were unsullied. How do you know this?
Okay, that last one wasn't serious, but I wonder what happened to Rickon and the Wildling woman.
Yeah, did they reach the Umbers at the last hearth?
Or are they still traveling because it's Westeros distances that takes
Exactly.
random time to cover?
People get lost, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good predictions. I'm not going to say if they're right or wrong, but very interesting.
Thank you.
You get an A+ for your homework.
Yeah, I once again must commend you for your ability to not spoil things.
Okay, thank
It
you.
goes for all the book readers. I'm amazed at how little has been spoiled. I have been surprised by the Red Wedding, by the Pink Wedding, by the death of Oberyn Martell, and yeah, everything is surprising to me, and it's great. I love the fact that I haven't read the books.
Yeah, if you love it, don't spoil it.
Yeah, so please don't spoil anything in the comments,
Yes.
because I will cry.
Yeah, then we will have to edit that and cut it out, and yeah, it's.
Yeah, we hate editing. So for this season, as you have noticed, we have decided to go audio only. We have decided to record every episode live, or at least sitting physically in the same room, so we don't get any problems with Skype and audio levels. So I expect our production quality to be much higher for this season. And we're also on iTunes now. All of season 4 is on iTunes. And we, depending on how popular we get, we may or may not cover the earlier 3 seasons. We still haven't decided on that. We have also moved to the YouTube channel Hard Nerd Cafe, which will post the podcast as well. We are on Facebook at the Game of Thrones chat. We are on Twitter. And I haven't checked that for ages, so I'll get back to you in the next episode about the Twitter. And the best way to reach us is to comment on the podcasts on iTunes or on Hard Nerd Cafe. Do you have anything you want to add?
Well, I have some predictions, or
of course, yes. Sorry,
explanations of my own.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll do that, even though you already did the contact information. Well, I mean, I read the books, so I'm not gonna give predictions. But then again, starting this season, everything is up for grabs, and we are almost on a level playing field here, because I don't know what's gonna happen either.
Interesting.
Yeah, and because for this season it's going to be books 4, 5, and 6, and that's just crazy. And
is it going to be book 6?
It looks that way, and you know why that is so crazy.
Yeah, because book 6 isn't published.
Yeah, that's the craziest part. Okay, let me explain this. You think it sounds complicated now? Wait until I explain it.
Okay.
So he wrote book 1, and it came out George R. Martin did, and it came out in 1996, and it became season 1.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. And then 2 years later, book 2 came out, and it became season 2. And then 2 years later, book 3 came out, and that became season 3 and 4 because it was so thick and so action-packed.
Is it the thickest book?
I think it's the thickest book.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the one that has the most action in it. So it made sense to make 2 seasons out of it, because you got both the Pink Wedding and the Red Wedding, and the Mountain and Viper fighting, and the Battle of the Wall, and there's so much stuff in it.
Must be a good book.
Yeah, it's awesome. But then the next book took 4 years to come out, not just 2 years. And what happened there? Well, his plan was to have a 5-year gap between books 3 and 4.
Okay.
So that would be then seasons 4 and 5.
Yes.
It looks like there won't be a 5-year gap in the TV series. But he felt that he needed that gap because he wanted some characters to get older, and he needed some characters to evolve and get skills and stuff and become different, and that will take years.
Yep.
So that's why he decided on a 5-year gap. So when he started writing book 4, he had this gap that he then would just reference to. But then I realized, okay, references aren't enough. I need some flashbacks. And then some more flashbacks and more flashbacks. And soon half the book was flashbacks. And then he just figured, I might just start over and do it. Just skip the gap and just describe everything.
Wow.
That made the most. So he started over. And then he wrote and wrote and wrote. And then the book was almost 2,000 pages. And it's like, I can't publish 2,000 pages. Nobody will publish 2,000 pages. I have to split it up into several books. And so... But then they had all these story arcs that they didn't want to cut in half, because there was really like story arcs that he felt that went really good into one book.
Yeah.
So instead of publishing all the stuff chronologically, like all the other books are chronologically described, but this one he took half the characters and described them from start to finish. in book 4. And then at the end of book 4 he wrote like, oh, sorry that you're missing some of your favorite characters. They will be in book 5 and that will come out shortly. And shortly was 7 years. So first off, you were angry because you didn't get all those other characters, and then like in book 5 he goes back in time. Part of the reason it took 7 years, not only because life intervened, but partly because he didn't figure out how to solve the Daenerys storyline. He had painted himself into a corner.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I need to go from A to B to C, but I haven't figured out the road yet. And so it took a long time for him to figure out where to go with the storyline. And I guess that's why he didn't want to start to publish. He would probably like to go back to book 3 and re-edit that. And but you can't go back on a book you already published.
No.
So he's like, okay, so let's wait with the Daenerys storyline. I'll publish these other characters. And then book 5 came out 7 years later and had all the rest of the characters then.
So it was 4 years and then 7 years.
Yeah.
So it took 11 years for him to decide what to do with the Daenerys.
Basically, yeah.
But he did decide.
Yeah, he did decide eventually. And
Okay.
he's like, okay, so I have to do all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And
Wow.
yeah, and I could describe to you what happens, but that will be spoiling stuff. So I'll talk to you about that after you read the books and after all the seasons are done and so on.
Okay. So we'll talk about that in 2025.
Exactly. Well, like 5 years if the 2 or 3 or 4 years if it's a TV series, and 20 years if it's the books. And
Yes.
so anyway, so a lot of people were angry that he didn't do it chronologically, that he went back in time for book 5.
Yeah.
So some people are like, oh, I'm going to read book 4 until page 15 and then switch for book 5 and read that for 10 pages. And then some people read the books that way when they reread them because they figured out everything in a timeline.
Wow.
But and for the TV series, could you imagine season 4 without, say, Daenerys, for example? No, you can't do that. So they have to put books 4 and 5 together.
Yeah.
But also, it's the fact that I think they've signed up the actors to do seasons 5 and 6.
Yes.
And season 5 is done now, and so they know that they have the actors for season 6, and probably going to sign up them soon for season 7. But when they did season 5, they only knew that they were going to have the actors for season 6.
Yeah.
But they don't know if they have the actors longer than that. So they needed to somehow get to close to an end game so that they can finish it up in season 6 if they need to.
Oh, I'm glad they didn't have to do that.
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, the CEO of HBO came out with a statement saying that he wanted 10 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Wow, 10 seasons.
10 seasons. So then we have to stretch it out instead.
All right, but there is supposed to be 7 books, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be 7
Yes.
books, and George R. R. Martin is trying to finish book 6, and he just said in a statement that he's not going to write an episode for season 6 because he needs to focus on his book 6.
Yeah, and he didn't write one for season 5 either. Right?
Yeah, because he needed to focus on book 6. So, but anyway, in season, I mean, the producers in the first 4 seasons, they've skipped some. The producers have skipped some stuff. They added some stuff, but they mainly kept with the books.
Yeah.
But in this season 5, they're going to use stuff from books 4 and 5, obviously, and book 6, because they don't like some of the stuff that happens in book 4 and 5, and they need to get the story going further. Perhaps they don't know really. They have talked to George R. R. Martin about what's going to happen in book 6 and 7, so they know that.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff, like some of the characters, for example, have already out of material. There's no more stuff. You mentioned one of the characters here.
Yeah, Bran.
Yeah, he has almost no material left.
Yes.
And there's other characters with even less material left. So they've already used up books 4 and 5 for those characters.
Okay.
So if I see them in season 5, I know it's either made up stuff or book 6 stuff.
Okay, that means it's either Craster or Gold.
Craster or Gold?
Yeah, like the Craster's Keep storyline from season 4 that was added.
Okay. It's either bad or good. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how they can base it on book 6, because they know roughly what's going to happen.
Okay.
So, but for the character, I've seen some of the characters, and from what little I've seen, they've talked about rumors about the set and so on. It seems like some of the characters are going to follow closely what happens in books 4 and 5.
Yes.
That's going to be season 5 for them. For some of the characters, it's going to be just made up, or season 6, because they run out of material.
Interesting.
For some of the characters, they're going to take what happens in books 4 and 5 and throw it out the window and just add completely different stuff. That maybe book 6, in some cases, in other cases, I think is completely made up and not even book 6.
Wow.
So that's why I'm saying I don't know what's going to happen, because there's no books to follow, and even when there are books to follow, they're not following them anyway.
Wow, we have 11 days left to the season premiere. This will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And now there might be another Red Wedding, I don't know.
Well, I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm
obsessed. I'm obsessed, man. It's getting crazy.
Yeah, I will be shortly again. I already ended this podcast once, but as we are not doing the videos, I have skipped all the ideas of having a limit on this, so we'll do 3 hours if we need to. You can let us know what you think. How long do you want this to be? And hopefully you will get your opinion to us in time for us to change anything. So, well, thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
And see you in Västerås! Woo!
Yeah! Bra! Hur långt är det?
Yeah, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, yeah. Game of fucking Thrones. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones. There are swords and things doing lightning tricks, and they'll take you out if you try to beat them. They'll kill you and stop you and make you Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones. In the lightning they come to take on everyone. And you know it's the Game of fucking Thrones. Game of Thrones, fucking Game of Thrones, fucking Game of.
The Untold Stories av Västerås.
Det kan ju vara spoilers igen.
Ja, det kan det ju vara. Men